What's happening, y'all? I'm the Bald Kin Nostalgic, and this is SlickBlast RapCast. The first show of 2022, and this should be a special one as we'll be chopping it up with a dope producer and DJ that's been paying his dues, and he's been doing his thing for a long time, and happens to be, rest in peace, Phife, one of his closest friends. It's a special thing, as we'll be discussing Phife's upcoming album, Forever, March 22nd of this year. And the man that I'll be talking to right now, again, a special individual that's paid his dues in the culture of this hip-hop, beautiful, universal thing. And Scorpio, what up, man? Much love to you. Much love. And man, I'm hyped. I'm hyped. We got some special guests, actually. We got DJ Rasta Root. We have some other guys coming up this week, so I'm excited for the guests that are coming up. And as we'll be waiting for DJ Rasta Root, I will send them a request. Hope everybody's New Year was good and safe and fun. You know, everybody's been trying to be safe out here, right? So what I'll do is I'll send DJ Rasta Root a request, and then we'll go from there. All right. Yeah, so hopefully everybody's doing good. It's good to see everybody again. You know, it's been definitely been a challenging year, but we're here. So we're still here taking care of ourselves and just, man, and still repping this culture lovely and wonderfully. So, all right. So I'm just DJ Rasta Root. All right. So yeah. So if you can, Rasta Root, if you can send a request, that'll be cream cheese. All right, because sometimes, yes, Tracks a Million, absolutely another legend. By the way, rest in peace. Unfortunately, hip hop lost another legend as well. Tracks a Million, definitely from the West Coast, a Bay Area legend. So thank you for bringing that up, Scorpio. A lot of guys just it's just crazy how fast that's why, man, we just gotta say that's why we gotta say I love you, and to everybody that you care about, man, around you, say I love you. You know, do wellness checks, phone calls. I can't stress that enough. I'm one of the guys that does that. I make sure everybody that I care about is good. Brad, what up, man? Aaron, what's going on, man? So, all right. So let me look for the man, the Rasta Root, DJ Rasta Roots. All right. By the way, executive produced Phife's upcoming album called Forever. That's pretty big. I mean, to be a part of that whole project, and again, he was very close friends with Phife. So I'm looking forward to the stories. You know, I know he's gonna have a lot of them. So, all right. So this requesting, see, that's the thing. This requesting sometimes gets out of whack, and then it delays things. So I'm trying to find the, okay, see, DJ, where's he at? There he is. DJ Rasta Root. If you could send a request, my brother, my apologies, because sometimes I'm not able to send requests. So if you can, that'll be great. Thank you, my brother. You already read my brain, and here we are. All right. Let me raise up the volume as well. Make sure everybody can hear loud and clear. Picture looks good. What's going on, my brother? Happy New Year, man.
Happy New Year to you, man. What's good? Thanks for having me.
Absolutely, man. Again, man, I want to thank you for taking the time to be on. And I thought you would appreciate this, because this is what you're a part of this.
I see you up the Phife Forever movement, for sure.
Yeah, man. You know, it's only right, man. So I
like that, man. Yep.
Yeah, man. So, man, I want to thank you. Well, first of all, this is special because you're the first guest of 2022 for SlickBlast RapCast. So that's pretty dope. You're guest number one.
I love it. Number one for number one.
That's right, baby. So you're setting the tone, for all the great guests coming soon. And I want to thank you for rocking with me, man. And again, I want to thank you as obviously, you know, Tribe is special to everybody on planet Earth, right? I mean, we've all had our experiences hearing Tribe growing up. But for me personally, you know, everybody has their favorite MCs from groups. And Phife, to me, man, he just resonated with me. You know, Q-Tip obviously had the smooth production and the butter, you know, the nasal tone signature flow. But Phife, I think, resonated with me because of the sports, just the sports, the love for the sports, and the battle rap mentality he had, man. I think he was always hungry, right?
Nah, definitely. I think that was a big part of, you know, like who he was as a person. He loved the battle rap scene. That's where he comes from. And he said it came from the fact that he was diminutive and smaller. So he had to have a big bark. And that bark came in the form of the rap part of it and being in ciphers and really just going at people and really going for broke and not worrying about the outcome and just going for it. So he would say they'd go to clubs and he'd come outside, even while they were already well known, and he'd see like a cipher going, he'd jump in the cipher and just start rapping. So he was an MC, you know what I mean?
Yeah, he's an MC's MC, absolutely. So, and first and foremost, once again, DJ Rasta Root, I on behalf of SlickBlast RapCast, man, I want to give you your flowers personally.
Well, thank you, man.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think that's important, and I want the world to acknowledge what you have done. Aside from you being a dope DJ and also producer as well, you have been a preserver, and obviously I will get more into that as we go. But you've been a preserver of Phife for the longest time, and I want people to know that for the people that are not aware. So I want to personally thank you. He's one of my, you know, he's one of the greatest, man, and I thank you for preserving his legacy. And you're doing it the right way, man. So thank you on behalf of you and the estate. It means a lot. So
no, for sure. You know, if someone ends up being your best friend or close to brother or someone you love, like it's the only thing you can do. Like I feel like if you're not doing that or trying to make sure people remember him, or if he had a message he wanted to relay and he wasn't able to do that, I felt like I was charged to kind of finish the task of, you know, getting the word out on his album and finishing songs and remembering things he wanted on songs and features and how would want things to be done. That's part of like the whole like griot part of it, where it's helping pass down the tradition and passing down the message. So it's been definitely a heavy load, and definitely like I struggled at times, and thankful for his family and, you know, particularly his father, who's always supported me and calls me out the blue and says, "Hey man, how's the music coming along? Hope you're doing well. Keep doing it. God has a plan in place. Keep going." And luckily that's kept me going for these last few years, you know?
yeah, and that's, I'm glad that you mentioned that. I'm a big believer in God as well, man. You know, everything is, you know, when you wake up, you go to sleep. Everything is manifested when you pray on things. And again, it's very key and greatly appreciated that you're doing what you're doing. And that's why I have you on, man, because that's special what you're doing, aside from your talents alone. So man, look, before we get into the Forever album that you executive produced, which is, again, congratulations on being a part of that history.
Thank you.
Absolutely, my brother. I know. So, were you born in Atlanta? Were you born and raised there, or did you move there at some point?
No, I was born in Fort St. John, British Columbia, which is a small town way north in the west coast of Canada.
Nice.
And we moved there because of my father's job. He was working for an oil company, so they came from Trinidad, and I was conceived in Trinidad, and then they moved to Canada. I was born there, and then from there, we just moved a lot with his job to different countries, seven or eight different countries.
Wow.
And then somehow or another, after Japan, I was in Japan on my own. I ended up in Atlanta because my mom had moved there.
Okay, very cool. Yeah, I wanted to clarify that because I didn't know, you know, the official beginnings. So thank you for clarifying that. So yeah, if we can, man, before we discuss the Phife Forever and of course your accomplishments, let's go back in time, man. Let's go on the virtual DeLorean, as I like to say. And I really want to know like where it started for you personally. When did you know personally that you fell in love with hip hop? Like when did it do it for you? Because, you know, everybody has that one particular moment when they're young. So for you, when did you know?
Yeah, my experience is a little different because, like I said, we moved around a lot. So you got to think,
Yeah.
I'm a little older. So when I was living in Holland, and this has probably been like 78, 77, whenever Rapper's Delight came out, they
Oof.
ended up coming to Europe and performing on a show called, I think it was Eurovision or Top of the Pops or something like that. It was a show, that variety show. And that was my first like time hearing that type of music and that type of rhyming and those, actually black people doing it on a big level like that. And luckily, I have a cousin who lived in Brooklyn, New York, and we would always hang out when I went to the States. And so he kind of put me on to like music that he was listening to, mixtapes, the Dougie Fresh stuff, and Slick Rick, and Houdini, and all these other groups, all these legendary groups. And I learned through him pretty much. And then when we go back to the countries we were living in, I would take the mixtapes back with me, and my memories of listening to the radio, I would have those memories with me, and that's all I had. So my experience is a little different. It wasn't, as involved as I ended up being in Tribe. It started out with me just being an outsider, really looking in.
Right. Yeah, getting into your own and figuring out what your what your love was, and naturally
Sure.
that happened over time. So
Yep.
that's really cool, man. Sugar Hill Gang, and of course one of the originators, and man, that's really cool. That was the group that set the tone for everything.
No, for sure.
So, and the fact that you
No, it's
moved
crazy.
around.
Yep.
Yeah, and then the fact that you moved around as well, I think that's pretty cool, man, because you got to see different environments,
No, for
different
sure.
landscapes, right? Just
Yeah, I mean,
visual
just
landscapes, and
culturally, musically, just the gamut. My experience was really broad from a young age, so I always had like a global perspective on life, music, and everything in between. And I'm thankful to my father for that. I didn't understand at the time because every couple of years we'd move to different countries and I'd lose a group of friends. So I didn't understand it. It was hard growing up in that sense.
yeah,
But the upside is that you learn to adapt to culture really quickly and absorb it and absorb languages and absorb everything around you because you're so young. By the time you're an adult, you've already been to tons of countries, and it's not that big of a deal. But the funny thing is, I never thought that my job would entail traveling, and thankful, honestly, to Phife and a couple of the people I've worked with, even Tribe for that matter. I was able to continue my travels and visit countries that my father's job had not taken us to. So it's very interesting that the traveling has been my whole life.
yeah, that's super cool, man. Again, like a lot of us, we're blessed to live in one place, and that's
Mm-hmm.
it. Yeah, so I like the fact that you had a multifaceted living situation,
Mm-hmm.
and expanded your horizons musically, and again visually, just seeing these landscapes, and
For sure.
yeah, and going through what you went through. And
Mm-hmm.
once
For
again, that's
sure.
the Talking Nostalgic, kicking it with the legend DJ Rasta Root.
Thank you.
And everybody that's on, we appreciate you. I'm grateful for everybody being on, because
Mm-hmm.
all true heads on here.
For sure.
So again, man, so let's do this now. The virtual DeLorean, man. I want to know the essence of you and Phife's friendship, because again, like you said, you had to go through your personal, journeys before you were out. You said you were an outsider looking in,
Mm-hmm.
and then of course things come to fruition, and everything happens for a reason, right? So
Mm-hmm.
how did this? I want to know when this all started, because I'm very interested to know.
I mean, it's so crazy, man. I call that part of my life like the hip hop fairy tale kind of, because when I was a freshman in college, I was living in Maryland at the time, but I got accepted to go study at Gettysburg College, which is in Pennsylvania. And it was about an hour away from my house. So my sister had a car at the time, so she'd take me to school and bring me back on the weekends or whenever I wanted to come home. And this one time, she was like, "Yo, listen to this group." She doesn't use the word "yo," but I say "yo." Yo, listen to this group.
It just sounds better. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
it sounds more hip hop.
I
She said,
got
"Yo,
you.
listen to this group. I got this cassette." She popped it in. It was a Chevy Sprint was her car, a little tiny car, and it was Tribe's first album, and that was my first kind of introduction to them. And then from there, I started seeing them on like I don't know if it was MTV Raps at the time, but Music Box and all these different shows were playing Bonita and Can I Kick It and Segundo. So that was my first introduction. I always kind of credit her with that. With that being said, fast forward a couple years, one of our spring fling events, they brought this like green screen projector, and you were allowed to like lip sync different videos. And my crew and we chose Check the Rhyme, and we did that one,
Ooh.
right? Which is kind of crazy. So that video is somewhere,
Yeah.
us jumping around. And then once I graduated, I continued doing my DJ thing. And a year after I graduated, So I got accepted to go to the JET program in '94. So I was going to leave in August '94.
Congratulations on that.
Thank you, appreciate that, man.
Yeah, man.
March, April '94, I got a call from the school radio station, which I DJ'd on for some years, and they were like, "Hey, Tribe's coming to Gettysburg. They're doing a concert there. We'd love for you to come back and interview them on the radio," because I had the experience with the music as well as the radio station. So I said, "Of course." So I had a gig that day, so I couldn't go to the show, but I was able to do the interview. So I go up to the station. Phife's there, Tip's there, Ali wasn't there, and I have a VHS cassette somewhere at my mom's house where I'm actually interviewing them. This is like, this is '94, so I'm like,
you gotta
wow,
be kidding me!
It's crazy, man. And I had showed Phife the video, and he was like, I don't even remember. I remember going to Gettysburg, but I don't remember the interview. And obviously, because they had done so many interviews over the years, it was like another one. But for me, that was like, wow. Now, keep in mind, now I'm gearing up to go to Japan. So I was a Canadian jet, so I had to leave from Canada. So we drove up to Canada to go to Caravana, and then I was going to leave for Japan like the next day or something. So my last concert in Toronto was Craig Mack and Tribe the night before I moved to Japan. Still a fan, still a fan. Obviously still an outsider. Honestly, still an outsider, still a fan looking in. So I go to Japan, and of course I'm playing Tribe throughout the years because they were just part of the selection. Stressed Out, all the singles they had, and then I moved back to the States after I was done with the JET program. My mom had moved from Maryland to Atlanta. Now let me back up. One of the summers I visited my mom.
Okay.
I went to an event downtown that was hosted by Phife and DJ'd by Kid Capri, and I remember Phife was talking to Kid Capri, and I was like, damn, I just want to jump in and say what's up or whatever. And I just didn't have the gall to do it. But that was just like all these little blips of memories of getting closer and getting closer, right? So when I moved back from Japan, I was teaching Spanish, teaching English, and also doing interpreting for a railroad company. I was at my office that day. I was doing consulting, and I get a call from my friend Jason, who worked at the studio. He was like, hey, we're working with Phife in the studio. He has he's working on some songs for us. Would you want to do some scratches? He wants to use the Ghostface record and this NC Shan record. So I was like, hell yeah.
Is that a trick question?
Right, exactly. So I'm like,
come on now.
So I was like, when I got to be there, I grabbed the records I needed, brought my turntables, had my business card with me because I knew, I was like, yo, this could be my way to get into the industry on that level, because I knew he had a DJ as a soloist, but they had fallen out or something, so they weren't working together anymore. So I knew he was open to a DJ situation, I thought. Right. So I went there, I did the scratches, we connected on a cultural level because his parents are also from Trinidad, so the accent, the jokes, the food memories, and just
like the rhetoric, just
all that stuff.
The flavor. It was a nice combination.
Yep, for sure. So I gave him my card, studio session over. About 6 months later, I get a call from the same friend saying, hey, Phife called us back. He lost your card, but he wanted to know if you'd be interested in DJing for him for a solo show at University of Maryland, College Park. And I'm like, this is crazy. 6 months had passed. Yeah, it was crazy to me.
You had to be. Yeah, I bet you when he told you that you were breakdancing in your head. You were doing jumping jacks. You were.
I couldn't believe it, man. It was just very surreal because it just was surreal, and it was just like it's such a vivid memory to me. Like I remember packing up both my turntables, my mixer. I think he had speakers at his house, and nervously driving to his house because to me this is like one of the rap gods. You know what I mean? So it's clear as day. I remember ringing the doorbell, and he opens the door, and he's like, "Hey, what's up?" This raspy voice, socks on, shorts, t-shirt, just regular but quiet. He was just real quiet because we never really had that. I wasn't his friend yet, so it was very like we had to kind of feel each other out. So I'm walking in the house, and on either side of the hallway is like the De La album and Tribe album and the De La spinning disc album, and these are all like the plaques. These are all plaques on the wall. And then it was still very like
surreal.
It was surreal, and it wasn't like crazy laid out. He just had his plaques up. You know what I mean? Yeah. He had Slam magazines framed up in his house. So he loved sports, of course.
Of course.
And then from there, we kind of just went upstairs. I set up my gear, and we ran through the show. He gave me the well, at the time I think he loaned it to me, but it was the the test presses of the Tribe record instrumentals, which was,
Oh my
as a
God.
collector at the time, I was like, yo, I'm never giving these back. In my head, I said that. Because it was like white label, had Sharpie handwriting on it. It's probably him or Q-Tip who wrote on it, and it had like all the albums. Some were missing, but we had most of them. So
Oh my God.
I was rehearsing off of that. So, back then our shows were all vinyl. So I was running Tribe instrumentals off the show vinyl. Back then it was treacherous,
Yeah.
needles jumping, speakers vibrating. So it was
It
really
was
like,
work.
it was work. It was work. And when you start hearing it skip, you got to make sure, oh no, it's going to skip. Don't skip, don't skip. That kind of thing. So I went through some ups and downs with, this was my first time being a show DJ. So it took me a while to kind of get my rhythm and the timing and, you know what I mean? And our rapport. But if you fast forward, I don't know, when was that? Like, that was 98. If you fast forward to like 14, 15, which is the last time I DJed for him, it was completely in sync. Like, it wasn't even a thought. I would see hand signals and his body action and motion, and I knew what to do. But I think back to like from show one to the last show, how much of a chemistry we had developed. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and taking us back to that part when you enter this crib, you're obviously enamored. You're flabbergasted with this whole experience that it's him. It's actually Phife in the flesh, and you're just like, he's just casual about it, like, oh, come in, and you're just like, oh my God.
Yeah, I mean, his humility has always been a part of him. So I just didn't know that rappers could be humble like that. You know what I mean? So it was shocking to me. And they all have their thing, but as far as
Yeah,
like being humble, he was the most humble person I've met of all people. You know what I mean? So for sure, for sure.
yeah, Rasta Root, you would appreciate this briefly. Yeah, like you mentioned, it's not a secret that Phife was a hardcore sports fanatic. I mean, he even did a song for that John Madden video game. Rest in peace,
Yep.
John Madden. Well,
Mm-hmm.
that's a great segue.
Yep.
Another legend. This was when Peyton Manning actually joined the Broncos. At the time, me and Phife, we had a little friendly debate going for like 3 days in a row. It was nuts. And, the Super Bowl that Peyton Manning ended up winning, he's like, man, I was going against Peyton Manning and the Broncos because I wanted the underdogs. And he was like, no, forget about it. It ain't happening. And just to have an interaction with him was pretty. And the reason why when you mentioned the humble part, it showed that he was humble because he interacted with his fans on social media. And like a lot of people, there's divas, like you mentioned, there's personalities there's legends that are divas.
Right.
So Phife was just one of the guys talking sports, and that was special for me, man. I mean, even if it was a couple of days, that was
For sure. Well, that's the thing. That's what I always say. I always say that like anybody who has interacted or talked to him in any way will have a story to tell. Even if it's a short story, you're gonna have some story. Now there are times he'll talk to fans and he'll piss them off and he'll block them or it doesn't go the right way. I've seen that happen to the point where I have to tell him, get off of Instagram. It's not worth arguing with these people. But there's times he did like a good sports debate. He knew his sports. He loved his sports, and he could go at it with the best of them. Honestly,
Absolutely. And that's the thing, like you said, I didn't want to be that victim to be blocked because I'm a passionate sports fan as well. And I had my opinions, but I was like, you know what? Let's keep it mild sauce. And I was like, I respect it. May the best team win. And I left it like that. So
for sure.
He was cool with it.
For sure. That's dope.
I didn't go far with it.
Yeah, that's dope. No, that's good. That's good. And I think that's something you're always going to remember, which I think is great.
Yeah, definitely, man. So I know that Phife had his, he was very, he just had a charismatic personality about himself, and it showed in the videos. Any funny stories, man, with you and him? You guys were brothers, man. You guys were tight. Any stories that stand out to you to this day that, like, let's say you're by yourself or you're grocery shopping, or you just, you're doing your thing, you have a routine, and then sometimes you think about something funny with your friends, right? And then you laugh about it, and people are looking at you, you're like, why is this guy like just grimacing and laughing? I'm sure you've had many moments like that with you were laughing or stuff like that.
I mean, honestly, a lot of our relationship and how we got through very hard times and good times was laughter for sure.
Yes.
And so that we really, that literally got us through like some of the most precarious situations we've been through as a group, as a collective, and just traveling to different countries and shady promoters, and we have a million stories like that. And what got us through was laughter and this trust. Those two things, laughter and trust. He trusted me, and I trusted him. One of the stories that sticks out to me that I can think of, I just had it in my head, and it slipped my mind. Oh yeah. So when Tribe was recording, when Tribe had decided to record this last album,
Yes,
the big secret album, around
classic
that
album.
Yep, around that time, Busta had a show in New Jersey. It was a concert where he had everybody, damn near everybody, he collaborated with on the bill. It was actually the last time Tribe performed together at that show. They performed Scenario, but we were staying at this Homewood Suites in I think it was Edgewater or something like that, and they had this they had dope. It wasn't just a regular breakfast. It was a really good breakfast. They had like a happy hour dinner. And so we really would get up early to go to these things, right? To go eat and whatever. It was like a highlight of our day before we went to Tip's house to record or just hang out. But, they had just gotten off stage. Everybody's excited and totally just exhausted, but excited. So it was Ali in the van or the car, it was like a truck. It was his wife, it was Phife, and it was me. And, the first words out of Fife's mouth, I thought it was going to be something like, yo, that show was dope. That was crazy. Did you see song? It was all he said was, man, I can't wait to see what they have for breakfast in the morning at the hotel. And that was such a memorable thing for me. We just laughed because I'm like, man, this dude is so out. He's so out of out of touch with his impact. He's just a regular ass person. So
nonchalant and humbleness that goes with
his humility is crazy. And he's just the stage is a stage, but he was excited about the bagels and the scrambled eggs at the hotel the next morning. You know what I mean? Right. So that story really kind of stuck out to me because it was one of those he made me laugh and he didn't even know it was funny.
Yeah, it was nonchalant on his behalf, and he was it was just regular for him, but to you, it was a golden moment.
Exactly.
Yeah, yep. That's super dope. I love that story.
For sure.
I was curious, Rasta Root, because of course you spend much time with of course the rest of the group members, Tip and Ali Shahi Muhammad. So I did Ali Shahi Muhammad. He did a free show here with Adrian Youngs, the composer. They've been.
So where are you? Where are you now?
I'm in Chicago. Yeah, I'm in Chicago.
Gotcha.
Born and raised.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it. Yep.
Yeah, so basically, he did a show. One of the homies, Hassan Hector V. We were a part of that great night. Ali Shahi Muhammad. I mean, the guy was. This is pre-COVID, so we're hugging the guy. I'm like, man, kissed him in the forehead. I'm a bald guy. He's a bald guy. I was like, man, you don't understand how much. I did go all out. I thought I was gonna take him to dinner. So I'm like, right. So I'm just like. What my thought process was when I saw the Beats, Rhymes, and Life, a documentary, with Michael Rappaport. With your experiences with Tip, that you're obviously was he like that? Very not demanding, but was he very commanding? In terms of all right, we got to do that, we got to do this. Because I feel like it seems like Phife and Ali were very more mellow and more easygoing. And is that accurate? Or because I feel like Tip was maybe more hey, let's do this and do that. I mean, does that, what were your experiences?
I think Tip as an artist, I think he knows what he wants.
Okay.
And I think there's certain times he knows what's going to work. And there's certain times he knows what needs to get done. I think he's a self-starter in that way. So he doesn't need a cheering squad to cheer him on to go do something. He knows in his gut and his heart that it's right, and then he goes and does it. And so sometimes it's almost like having a group project in school. There's going to be one leader that kind of has the blueprint of what needs to get done, and the other members kind of fall into place or they're assigned their certain tasks. I think Tip is a natural leader. You know what I mean? Along with being highly creative, sometimes you might have trouble communicating in a way that is easy for someone to kind of absorb and then go and say, you know what, he's right, let me go do this. It may come off a little rougher. I don't think it's deliberate. I think it's just he has a high output expectation of himself.
Okay.
which in turn, this is my own assessment, which in turn kind of bleeds off into other people. But I think deep in his heart, he cares. I think he knows what's best for the group. You know what I mean? And I think maybe sometimes it's misread. Now, can he be an ass? Can he be an asshole? Yeah, he can. But then so could Phife, so can I, so can Ali. It's just that's human nature. So
yeah, absolutely right. It's a human thing.
Yeah. I don't think it's him. You know, I think people are just gonna be people, and you have to learn how to like deal and cope with people the best way you can. And you know, I think later on in their friendship, as they were recording this last album, I feel like they came to a moment. There's a moment where I saw, you know what, these guys are on the mend. These guys are getting back to where they were. All that stuff before doesn't matter. You know what I mean? I saw it with my own eyes, and it was beautiful. Like even hearing them, like they were kind of going back and forth. And we would leave them alone in the control room, and then they would just be doing their thing with the engineer. But then there was a set of headphones there were all headphones all over the live room, so you could actually put the headphones on. You can hear what's going on in the control. That was my cheat code. I just go listen, and it was so crazy. And I'm so mad I recorded, but somehow it got deleted. It was a voice note of them going back and forth and exchanging lines and teaching each other lines. And it was just, I thought back to like Electric Relaxation and all these other songs where they were going back and forth, how that might have been. And so I think I'm very excited that I got a chance. And sad I'm not able to revisit that and listen to it again, you know?
Yeah, now we have one of the young lady commenting, not my double R, when you mentioned the a-hole term, like we could all be a-holes.
Hey, listen, I mean, I know it's Lady Luck DC. I saw her a couple of days ago, or 2 days ago, but, you know, honestly, as a manager, a road manager, you have to be, like, you have to have the gene to actually, you know, be the person you need to be to get it done and to, like, advocate for your group. And for members of your group, if they forget something, you got to make sure you're that. You could be nice, but you have to also let them know, the promoters, whoever, that you know you're not a pushover either. And that's learned behavior. I think there's an asshole gene in me where I am a kind of a troll in a way, but that's just my way of kind of loving on people. You know what I mean? But I think I'm not mad that that. It's not a bad thing. I don't think. You know.
Yeah, and that's what entertains you. Yeah, and that's life, man. You have to laugh, like you said. Laughing is therapeutic. That's natural. It's a natural recipe for life, you know.
Yep.
So one of the I'm gonna get into that question real quick. I will get into that question. Okay, so real quick, you and I have something in common. So we both have a good relationship with Uncle Herm, Jay Dilla's uncle. Man, we've connected, man. I mean, he's a good dude, man. And he said, I let him know that you were gonna, because I know he's important in doing this thing right now, busy, trying to get the donut thing going in. But spoke highly of you when I texted him a couple of days ago just to see how he's doing. You know, wish him a happy New Year and Christmas.
He's good people, man.
Yeah, he's great. He's great people, man. And that guy he's a ball of energy. I just love his energy. So he had nothing but great things to say about you and what's coming up soon in March. So I wanted to, all right, so the homie DJ Hector V. How was Jerobe's relationship with Phife 2? That's a good question.
I think we're breaking up a little bit. You there?
Breaking up? Yeah, I'm here, my brother. I'm here. Yeah, I'm here, brother.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
I mean, Jerobe's relationship with Phife was, they were brothers too, like for real. Like, I think they leaned on each other, throughout a lot of their career. I think it's an unconditional love between them two. When Jerobe would go off and do his disappear sometimes and go do his culinary thing, Phife understood that. That was his passion. Go do it. You know what I mean? I think they were supposed to actually start a rap group together way back then when Tribe was doing their thing. Their goal was to branch off and do their own thing together.
Really?
So, yeah. So they were like super
Wow.
close. They were super close. Jerobe could rap and he was the beatbox guy and Phife had the rhyme. So they thought they could do their little duo thing, and it never panned out because Tribe got so big. But yeah, they're thick as thieves.
Yeah, I'll tell you, man. That would have been so I do a segment that I started 23 weeks ago to be exact, called Hip Hop Mix and Match. It's like Disney's What If. I started doing it before Disney started that What If thing, and it's been great, man. And in the mix and match segments that I've had guests on, They elaborate their list of 10 songs, and it's basically dream scenarios. Like it's like the fantasy football of hip hop. And I typically mention Phife 75% of the time that we do these mix and match shows. And we're gonna segue into this collab. You know, the French Kiss Duel, produced by the Potato Head people, and I know you had a lot to do with that project as well. I always wanted to hear, man, because they're in my top 10 of all time that are locked in and they're never leaving. Redman and Reggie Noble, Redman and Phife. I was just picturing a Redman and Phife Dog, a full album, them two. Because ironically, Red was on the remix of the Phife song, and I think that maybe Dilla and Q-Tip on production, and even Madlib, I think that'll be a freaking classic, bro. I just always wanted to hear Phife and Redman coincide together with their style.
Yep. I mean, they had like a really good chemistry and a real good love for each other. Redman was at Tip's house for a lot of the recording of the Tribe album, and he always was just very encouraging towards them and Phife in particular. He was, there supporting us whenever needed. So Redman's a special dude, man. Real special.
Definitely, man. He's still doing his thing, and he's still relevant, and he's consistent, and I'm very happy to see, that. And on behalf of all of us, I know we're happy to see that.
For sure.
All right, so this is the one I've been waiting for now. Now, you executive produced Phife's upcoming album, Forever, and again, man, that's a big deal, and that's a huge responsibility, and somebody like you and I know somebody like you was capable of taking on that task. And again, congratulations, because that is a big deal.
Thank you. I'll hold the congratulations until the album's done and out. I can really kind of exhale, and then I'll be like, oh yeah, he said congratulations. I'm gonna take that right now. Until then, I still gotta work hard. You know what I mean?
No, absolutely, but I'm manifesting it that it's gonna be a phenomenal album, and I trust that it will. That's my mindset on it. So
no, I appreciate that for sure. I think fans will be like delighted to hear the album. I honestly think even Phife would have been delighted to hear, because I think this kind of even though it took years to get it done, it accelerated the desire to finish the album and get the features he wanted, and some worked out, some didn't, but whoever's on it, I feel like deserved and meant to be on the album. So I think people are going to be really, really pleased to hear the direction sonically that he chose. We have Bob Power on the mixing and mastering.
Ooh, yes.
Ali did like 3 cuts, but then Bob Power took over from Ali because Ali was busy with the equalizer doing the scoring for that. But we got Bob on the job, so I talk to him almost every day, and we're exchanging files, and he's got it sounding incredible. I think it's only right that one of the people he started his career with helps end the career. You know what I mean?
You want to know something, man? I think that it would be super dope and special. Yeah, a guy that's also become a dear friend of mine, Kurok Ski, the legendary MC of the Fat Boys, the only one alive. He's a phenomenal human being, man, and he's been on Hip Hop Mix and Match with us a couple of times. Nice. I think it'll be very dope and interesting if you accept the invite in the future when you're free. You and Bob Power, and we could get one of my guys to do a Hip Hop Mix and Match. I would love to hear your 10. You can do anybody you want. You can do MF Doom and Phife, produced by Rick Rubin. You get that's the fun part. You get creative with it. And then I want to hear Bob Power's list. And you could even go rock, jazz, blues. You can go Prince and Redman.
Yeah, Bob Power is dangerous. I'd be very interested to hear his list, because he's got such a broad scope of musical tastes.
Exactly. So that'll be great if you can make that happen. Whenever the time is presented, that'll be appreciated, man. It'll be fun. You guys will enjoy it for sure. For sure. Definitely. So how long did it take to assemble this future classic Forever? And I say that confidently, future classic. How long did it take for you to construct this? Because I know you were a big part of this project. I mean, you can't rush perfection, right? But how long did it really take? Because I know projects like this are very, very delicate, and we have to, right? It's more of a delicate thing.
Yeah. So Phife was working on the project, obviously before he passed away. So all the verses you hear, I'd say probably 70% of the beats you hear him on, they're on beats that he recorded on. The other 30%, which is we're really lucky, the other 30% is either we have to redo the sample, but it's in the vein of what he would want. So we kind of know what the feel of the music he wanted, so that wasn't the hard part. It was, I think, when he transitioned, we had already recorded and finished the video for Nutshell and Nutshell Part 2 with Bustin' Redman. So
amazing tracks, by the way.
Thank you, man. So we were kind of really like loading up the chamber, ready to kind of go as these things were happening, as he's recording the Tribe album. So we had his thing going. He always wanted to make sure that no matter what he was doing with Tribe, that it didn't stop what he was doing on his own. So we made a concerted effort to work on his album while he was working on the Tribe album. Any minute we would get to either get feedback or go talk to labels or get beats from different producers, we were doing that at the same time. So he did not want his own endeavor to be kind of like shelved or anything like that. So that gave us even more impetus to actually complete the album. I think the hard part is once you transition is we were working the same way we were working before, which was complete the album and then go shop it to a label. So after a while, I think the family, not that got impatient, but I understand it was taking a lot longer than they maybe expected. So they kind of had a call with me, and we kind of all decided that it was probably best to shop the idea to a label. You know what I mean? And then from there, once we have a budget in place and dates and deadlines, it might be easier to reach those goals. And so that approach kind of worked a little better. I guess I'm more of a deadline oriented person. So knowing that I have to like turn things in made me work a little faster. However, sometimes it's not as easy with features, being able to kind of complete them in a timely fashion. So that's been a little challenging, but I would say if I had to drop his album tomorrow, I would be very happy with the album because they're all pretty much complete songs. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yep. So
and like you said, you're very detail oriented, and I think that goes hand in hand with being a perfectionist. So I think that's great that you have that mindset moving forward, and just that's a good problem to have. I feel.
No,
right?
for sure, it definitely is, and it's definitely this is the one shot we have. So whatever we put out, there's no coming back and saying, "Oh, my bad, let's do it like this." This is it right here. So I have to make sure that it's to its best, or it's shining the most when we put it out, so that there are no regrets with that. You know what I mean? And that's kind of like what my main job is, kind of quality control, and just make sure what would he want, what interlude would he want, what if we put this here, and all these things that we've had conversations millions of times about his album that never really came out. So I have a lot of information to kind of sift through and kind of find those pieces that make sense and then add them to the album.
That's great, man. And again, I can speak for myself and a lot of people that are on here that are huge Tribe fans, and I know this wholeheartedly. A lot of people that rock with me. I gotta say, man, I'm gonna be like the 12-year-old kids waiting at a I said Toys R Us, I took it back. Waiting at a Best Buy or like a GameStop. I'm gonna be one of those first people to purchase when this album comes out. If there's merch, if there's anything involved with that, I'm gonna make sure that I do my part to support as much as I can.
No, for sure, man. It's like, we're in January now. It comes out March 22nd, so
Man,
it's fast approaching.
I know.
We announced it in November, so it's go time right now. So even though we have time and we're working on the mixing right now, we have like 5 or 6 of them done. That's why I'm working diligently with Bob Power to finish mixing it. There are a couple outstanding features that we got to kind of get done. So at some point we have to kind of make a decision whether to just move on from that. But I think there's only one song, maybe 2 songs that couldn't go forward without the feature or some type of scratch work or something. So I got to really, like, this next week is going to be my time to really sit down and be like, look, this is not going to happen. We have to come up with another plan, just to myself. You know what I mean? So, that's where we are.
Just you talking about it though, I'm just getting hyped. Like the hidden hairs in my bald head are like ready to pop out, man.
No, I think it's just we're lucky that like he was working so feverishly to complete the album while working on the Tribe album. So there was not a lot of guessing work. Everything was kind of like laid out in its own divine way, where he left little like Easter eggs. And like, for example, I found there's one feature we have where the feature says a certain word in a certain way,
Mm.
and then on another session of a whole other song, Phife says the same word in the same way that this person said it. So I was like, you know what? This was tucked away so far into the verse. We don't need it on this song. Let me bring it into where this one is. And then when we laid it together, it just sounded like they were talking to each other in their own way, like saying the same thing, but it's perfect. So things like
Wow.
that, just kind of like they're kind of divine, and I can't really explain them. But
Yeah.
he left like, if we look hard enough, we'll find all the answers we need.
I love that, and I love the way you're breaking it down, where it's almost like you're giving a teaser, giving a teaspoon of it, but let's wait till the full dose on March 22nd, and it's gonna be worth the wait.
No, for sure. Yeah, I would love to be able to tell everybody this, and that, but I think once people see it and hear it, they're gonna understand like why there was so much secrecy, why it had to be done this way, because we need so much surprise element attached to this, because he's not here to speak about it. So
Yeah.
we need to hit people with something where they're like, wow, and then they start speaking about it. If they know right now and then they get the music in March, that excitement will be gone. So we've been kind of like really tight-lipped about the features, and some of the features say, can I mention? I was like, no, don't mention it just yet. Let's wait till it's announced, or we come up with a plan to announce it. And everybody's been gracious with that, and we have some really, really dope features on this album.
Oof. I can't wait, man, and I trust that it's going to be a phenomenal album. Gentlemen, he's a loyal listener, man. And watch Rubik's One. Please be safe driving, my brother. Thank you for tuning in. We appreciate you, Dawson, Hector, everybody that's on here. We appreciate you rocking with DJ Rasta Root and myself.
For sure.
I ask everybody, and it's only right, you're the first guest once again of 2022, and that's a milestone, man, because the first of many to come, but this is cool that you were the first one for 2022.
Right.
So 3, dead or alive. It's somebody that you haven't worked with, dead or alive, that you would help create an album with. It can be an MC, it can be a producer, it can be a DJ, it can be a breakdancer, it can be a former breakdancer that's not principal at a high school. Who, and no rush, we still have a good 13 minutes. Who are 3 that pop in your head, DJ Rasta Root? Because I know you have a lot of influences, right? And it's sometimes hard to choose. But 3 that come to your mind that you would say, dead or alive, that you would be like, look, if they wanted to do something in the next 2 weeks, a small project, and you were down, who comes to mind? Somebody you idolized as a kid, or somebody even currently, if you will.
I only have to think about that. So producer, it'd be J Dilla. Singer would be Sade. Rapper would be Ghostface Killer. Those 3 together.
You see how natural that came out? That was dude. That's probably the fastest somebody answered DOA on SlickBlast. So I commend you on that. That was fast.
For sure, man. Those are. I would love to hear Ghost with Sade, and obviously on Dilla beats for sure.
Damn,
that'd be crazy. I don't know if I've ever even said that before, but yeah.
Lord have mercy. You said Sade, the band, and
No. Yeah, of course. Well, singer, yeah. Well, yeah. You know what? Yeah, have J Dilla produce and have the band interpret, and have her do the singing.
Yes.
Ghostface rapping. That'd be crazy.
Oh my God! There you go, man. See, Rasta Root has already got his mix and match mojo ready for the next.
For sure.
I love that. Super dope, man. And again, man, for everybody that this is important. So Phife's estate, this is important to me because I like doing this for artists that are alive and also in hip hop heaven. I like to donate, and it doesn't matter whether it's $5 or $3. Just the principle that you care and you're trying to do your part. But is there any programs right now for Phife or any donations in terms of his estate?
No, there isn't right now, only because there's no real need for it right now.
Okay, that's a fair answer.
I do know that whatever we do, whether it's the album or any type of NFT or whatever that might be, there's going to be some type of donation going to JDRF, which is the Junior Diabetes Research Foundation.
That's nice.
And
Okay.
so I know his family wants to really kind of support that. So if we do something, it would be attached to that. There's nothing currently, but obviously the merch we've sold, like the t-shirts you're wearing,
Yes.
that went towards
Yeah.
the estate, which then of course then allows us to kind of do things with the album, whatever. So there'll be opportunities, and we just haven't really figured out what's the best way to do it and the most efficient way to get the money to the people. You know what I mean? To these organizations.
No, and that's great. So what I want to do as a dedication, man, for the next show, the next guest that I have on, I want to, and the cool thing is, all this money goes to the Diabetes Foundation. He has this cool feature, right? That you can choose your own charity while you have a live, and whether it's 15 people on or 1,500, I think I want to do that for.
That's nice, man.
Yeah, the Diabetes Foundation, because I had a rest in peace. I had an uncle that also had diabetes that passed away 12 years ago. So definitely a connection in that sense.
For sure.
And I think that's important to. It's important to be conscious about people around us, because as we know, this life is very precious, and it's just it gets me sentimental sometimes, because it's tough, man, and I can only imagine you personally what you went through, just going through the transition with him until the end. So and then us fans, of course, on the outside looking in, it's just he holds a special place, man.
I mean, he does, man. He was totally like a champion, and I'll share a short story with you.
Please do.
So in 15, I think it was, he and I took our last trip to Europe to tour and do like some shows, and it was 2 shows in England or something like that. And no, it was like London, Manchester, and Bristol or something like that. But it was hard because he was doing dialysis at the time, so we had to manage the days, and he could skip this many days and get to the clinic. And I'll never forget, we were tired and exhausted and staying at a hotel close to the airport, and we found a clinic that would take him. And like going early in the morning with our bags, I think we still had our bags, and just watching him at the counter check in. I have a picture of it actually, where he was just at the counter doing his thing. And he was like tired, but he still went, he did what he had to do. You know what I mean? I stayed with him, tired and cold, but I stayed with him in the room when he was doing dialysis. And this was the first time I'd been in the room in my whole life with him while he was doing dialysis. And he was like, "You can go sleep. You can go ahead, go sleep. It's okay." I was like, "No, man, I'm gonna stay up with you. When you're in it, I'm in it." That was kind of like how our friendship was. It's like we were in it together. So that was really touching, because he was such a trooper. You know what I mean? And I'll never forget that.
Well, I greatly appreciate you sharing that gem of a story that's very heartfelt, and it is touching. You talking about it, I'm visualizing it.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And again, man, God put you in Phife's direction and life for that reason, man. So I'm glad it was you, and I'm thankful once again, man. On behalf of everybody that's on here, and there's a lot of true fans, of course. But I do thank you for holding your own, and also being a trooper to go through that rough process.
Sure, man. Yeah, it's hard. It's hard to my father passed away in 15, and I've had several other friends that have passed away over the years. But
sorry to hear that.
Thank you, man. No, I thank you. But to have like someone so known and public passed away, you can't escape it. You know what I mean? Like, even if you wanted to turn your back and close your eyes to what happened or forget for a second, there's always a reminder somewhere. You know what I mean? It's good and it's bad, because sometimes you just want to just be regular and you just want to not think about that. But then he was such a big part of my life and everybody's life on whatever level that it's inevitable. So one of his lines in one of his songs you'll hear on the album, which is probably gonna be the last song on the album, he surmises it by saying, "What shall be, shall be." So that particular phrase has carried me through the process of creating the album. It's helped me in my regular day-to-day life and dealing with friendships and relationships and those things that go back and forth. And I just say, like Phife would say, "What shall be, shall be." And once I say that, it kind of wipes the slate clean. I keep it moving,
Yeah. And DJ Rasta Root, as we have 6 more minutes winding down, and again, man, I'm very grateful for your time and the fact that you gave me the time. I'm grateful for that. I truly
Well, it's
appreciate
all
it.
good, man. Thank you for having me.
No, of course, because again, it's you're an important staple of this culture, and I think it was important to tell your story. I wanted, and also, man, people forget you're Dwelle, the dope, longtime veteran from Detroit, the R&B singer Dwelle. You're also his manager, correct?
I'm his road manager and his DJ when the band isn't present. So we just came
Okay.
back I came back yesterday from DC. We spent New Year's doing 2 shows at City Winery, and then we did one the day after. So yeah, my first tour in the U.S. was Phife, Slum Village, Dwelle, Mystic, and a couple of the smaller groups. So that we come from like a long history together. So that's my fam. Like it's one of my day ones in the industry, if you will. And so that goes without saying. Like they call me up whenever they need I do it. They've done stuff for us. So that's family right there.
I love the modest comment that you make. You said
What's
some of those smaller groups.
Well, no, because they were like really, really small. They kind of like jumped on, meaning like the other groups that I don't even remember the names. They jumped on the tour, and it was a good look for them. But they were good too. I just don't remember the names.
Oh, okay, got you. The separate ones. Oh,
yeah, it was just complete. Yeah, totally. Yeah, as far as Slum and we used to battle it out. Like who's going last? Who's gonna kill it? Is Slum gonna do Fall in Love, and are we gonna do Find a Way? And we would go at it like date to date, fighting on who's gonna go last. You know what I mean? So it was called the Family Retreat Tour, and we learned so much on that tour about touring, the industry, ups and downs. Definitely like a bumpy nut. We used to call it the Bumpy Knuckles Tour because we went through some stuff on that tour. You know what I mean? But it made us stronger. That was my first time actually road managing for him for Phife. That's how I learned. I learned on that tour.
That's super dope, man. And there's some off air. If not tonight, I'll reach out to you tomorrow, man. There's something special I want to present you with, and when the time is right and when it's ready, I'm gonna, give me your info. I'm gonna send it to you. I will not say what it is.
Okay.
But it's like from here.
I appreciate that, man. Thank you.
When you see it, you're gonna know.
That's what's up, man. Thank you so much.
You're welcome, my brother. And before we hop out, man, the legendary DJ Rasta Root, is there anybody that you want? The times that we're living in now, we're trying to be safe. We're trying to be careful and stuff like that. But you personally, right now, is there anybody special in your life? It could be family, anybody that you want to shout out, man. Anybody special that you would like to shout out before we bounce out of this 2022 edition, part 1.
I mean, honestly, man, I just want to not anybody in particular, but more so like anybody or everybody who's kind of like chipped in to make this project see its way, whether it's producers, engineers, graphic artists, his fans that repost things, and bass players that do interpretations of our songs and kind of give it life. Every little bit helps. I always say that, like, we cannot do this alone. We're nothing without anybody helping us and anybody spreading the word. I wish the word on Phife's album spread as quick as the Omicron virus spread. If it did, we'd be platinum in a day. You know what I mean? So
that's true.
every time I post and I ask people to, like, please just pass it on. If you like it, pass it on. It's humbly asking to do that because we need all the help we can get.
That's super dope, man. And once again, man, on my behalf and everybody that's rocking with us, I greatly appreciate everybody that's joined us and shared this special moment with DJ Rasta Root and myself.
For sure.
Let's continue to support. Let's continue to post when it's Tribe Tuesday, right? And continue to post and let's build this Phife Forever album up, coming up March 22nd. Once again, and DJ Rasta Root is a huge reason why this album is being made. So again, sorry about that.
It's okay. What happened?
Props to you, man. Props to you once again for being a part of this movement, and I want to thank you for rocking with me, man, on a SlickBlast RapCast.
Appreciate it, man. Thanks for having me, and good luck to you, and looking forward to seeing you soon and getting my present.
Definitely. Sounds good, my brother.
All right, God bless, peace. Man. You too, man. Thank you.
Man. Peace.
Peace.
Yes. All right. Great one, ladies and gentlemen, to kick off the new year. And I want to thank everybody that's been a part of this. DJ Rasta Root, again, thank you so much. Thank you for all the great Phife stories. And yeah, Phife, the album Forever, March 22nd of this year. So a couple of months more, we'll be able to hear some goodness, some hip hop goodness. And of course, like you said, the features should be phenomenal. And anybody that, for the people that are not following SlickBlast RapCast, please do, because this is what we do. Hip hop culture, to the best of my ability. And love to everybody, you know, blessings, great health, a phenomenal new year from today until the end of the year. So let's enjoy this year and be safe, okay? Love each other. Always say I love you to each other, your family, your friends. It's important. So, all right. Have a blessed one. I'll be posting this. I am the Ball Kid Nostalgic, and this is SlickBlast RapCast. Rest in peace, Phife Dog. Peace.